And welcome back to TC Colorado Field in Fort Collins. Game 2 of Day 1 of the 2019 NISC, the National Invitational Softball Championship. The UT Arlington Mavericks and the Liberty Flames will go head-to-head after a thrilling Game 1 in which Loyola Marymount scored a couple of runs in the 7th inning and defeated Iowa State 6-5. Liberty is the home team. The Mavericks at 33-27 bat first. Whitney Walton in the shortstop will lead off. Then Madison Miller in right field, I beg your pardon, Bree Berkiani will bat second. Then Laura Curry in center. Aileen Garcia at first base. The catcher Reagan Wright bats fifth. Brittany Wiley at third base in the 6th hole. KJ Murphy bats 7th as the DH. Avery Grimes at second base bats 8th. And Melody Mendoza in left field bats 9th. In the circle for Liberty, just an outstanding pitching team, Julia DiMartino, and here comes Whitney Walton, the shortstop, to lead things off. We're underway. There's a bunt, fielded and flipped to first for a quick out to begin game number 2. UT Arlington, very much a small ball team against a Liberty team that maybe has their struggles offensively, but outstanding in pitching. In fact, they have the 3rd best team earned run average in the country at 1.46. And here's Berkiani, the right fielder, batting second, a 200 hitter on the year. The Mavericks out of the Sun Belt Conference, 33 wins, lost the first game in the regional, and then came back to defeat McNeese. A ground ball to third, handled by Griffin, and a couple of quick outs. In fact, they trailed 3-0 in the final game and then won 4-3 in 10 innings over the Cowgirls to advance here to Fort Collins. Liberty, on the other hand, 40-20, 16 wins in the A-Sun. And last year was such a magical season for them, a couple of wins in the regional. Find themselves in the NIC championship here this weekend, and here is Laura Curry, the center fielder. Now Curry is clearly the bat to identify for the Mavericks. A .437 batting average. It's the 2nd best single season mark in UTA history. All she's done is pick up 86 hits, and yes, that's a new UTA record. And she's 2nd in the nation in hits. Allie Webster of Notre Dame has 2 more, but her season is done. So Curry could get a couple of base hits this weekend and lead the country in hits. Facing this good pitcher, she's going to try and bunt, and McFarland, the catcher, laid out and could not make the play. Think about some of the outstanding offensive players we have in this regional. Sammy Williams of Iowa State hit a homer in game 1. Laura Curry trying to start game 2 for the Mavericks and get on base with 2 outs here in the 1st inning against Julia DiMartino. She's trying to win her 20th game. And that one is poked to third, fielded by Griffin, and 3 ground ball outs dispose of the Mavericks in the top of the 1st, and the Liberty Flames come into bat in the bottom of the 1st of game 2.
Triple Crown Sports Fast Pitch puts you at the most competitive and engaging tournaments in the nation. With decades of experience building relationships and trust at every level, Triple Crown is the engine behind the Colorado 4th of July, Zoom into June, and offers elite college events such as the Puerto Vallarta College Challenge and postseason NISC. Triple Crown is where skilled players enjoy the thrill of the sport and builds recruiting connections that pay off down the line. Find your way and love the game with Triple Crown Sports.
Outs in the top of the 1st, and the Liberty Flames coming into bat. Here is the lineup for Coach Dot Richardson's team, her 6th year in Liberty. The Bishop sisters lead off. Autumn, the first baseman, then Amber, the second baseman, bats second. Madison Fye in right field hits third. Shortstop Sarah Robertson, the cleanup hitter. Then Alexis Eric in left field. Deidre C, the DH. Danae Griffin will be at third base, batting 7th. Catching and batting 8th, Caitlin McFarland. Jasmine Cleek in center field bats 9th, and they'll be facing Randy Phillips in the circle for the Mavericks. 17-14 in 46 appearances this year. Her earned run average, not bad, 3.35. She's thrown a ton of innings. It won't take her long, just a couple of innings. She'll pass 200 on the year. And she's given up 231 hits, 116 runs, and opponents hitting 291 against her. So you have a pitcher who's thrown a lot of innings, has some inflated numbers against an offensive team in Liberty that quite frankly just really struggles. They get by with pitching, so it's quite a contrast today as Autumn Bishop, the first baseman, leads off. You see the Bishop sisters with Autumn and Amber batting first and second. Autumn's hitting 353, and her sister almost the exact same average at 352. No home runs for Autumn, though. Autumn, a team best batting average. Her on-base percentage led the conference, and it's an on-base percentage really off the charts. 458. So she's trying to work the count here, although behind early 1-2, facing Randy Phillips in the bottom of the first. And that one got him. Talk about on-base percentage with a couple of strikes. Bishop wore that pitch, although she really had no choice or chance even to get out of the way.
Second baseman, number 72, Amber Bishop.
And here's her sister, Amber. 69 hits, 8 more hits than her sister, but quite a few less walks, and that's why her sister has a better on-base percentage, but see what Amber can do. One of a couple of players on this team with 200-plus career hits. Sarah Robertson, the cleanup hitter, another. So even though pitching dominates for Liberty, they do have some offensive players with some big seasons and some big careers. It's just a Liberty team that has lost so many games by 1 run this year. That one hit high in the air, deep left field. They won't lose by a run today, or at least with just one. Amber Bishop, her 3rd home run of the season, clears the Rocky Mountain fence in left. In Liberty, an early 2-0 lead. It's a Liberty team that does not hit a lot of homers, just their 25th, but that was out by a wide margin and left. The only question, fair or foul, and it was inside the pole and a 2-run shot. I would say for Amber Bishop, she has a flair for the dramatic. She had 2 homers all year. Both were walk-offs. One was a walk-off slam. This was a 2-run homer to start the scoring. And here's Madison Vi. Normally doesn't bat in the 3 hole, but Liberty is even down a starter. Maitre is back with a class schedule today, as you see the home run clearing the fence. And that one hit in the air to center. Curry glides over and puts it away. And that is the first out.
Shortstop, number 1, Sarah Robertson.
But Maitre should be here tomorrow, flying in, and that's a starter that Liberty will have back for the remainder of this weekend in this tournament here in the postseason NISC. Here is Sarah Robertson, the shortstop, hitting .308, couple of home runs. So a 2-0 lead early for Liberty here in the bottom of the first. Then again, it was an Iowa State team that built a 5-1 lead in our first game, ended up losing to Loyola Marymount 6-5. It was a wild game, full of base runners and a lot of traffic. See if this one follows suit. Bright sunshine, stronger winds than we had in game 1, which might create some havoc. Youth teams getting ready for their games on the field behind the fence in right and in center. As the collegians play here in game 2 today. And that one poked off the tip of the glove of Garcia trickling into foul territory, and Robertson will cruise to second base in sliding. Aileen Garcia had that one off the top of her glove, and it deflected beyond her reach and down the line.
Now batting left fielder, number 4, Alexis.
That is a double for Robertson, and it brings up Alexis Eric, the left fielder. I think the one fear for UT Arlington has to be that the way this Liberty team pitches, if you're forced to come from behind, it will not be easy, and that line drive is smoked towards Grimes at second base. She'll make the catch and then doubled off Robertson, so instead of an extra run, the double play won the first. 2-run score and the Amber Bishop home run. And as we go to the second, Liberty over UTA, 2-0. We go to the second inning here at TC Colorado Field, the first collegiate games in this facility. You see the fence in left with the Rocky Mountains and the stands behind home plate. We've had good crowds today for these 2 games, a lot of activity, street closed and food trucks and a youth tournament going on. And day 1 of this NISC. 3 games tomorrow, 2 games if necessary on Sunday, but it's Liberty with an early 2-0 lead. DiMartino back to the circle. She will face Aileen Garcia, the first baseman, leading off for the Mavericks. Garcia has 5 home runs, an average in excess of 300, and the pitch from DiMartino just does miss. Didn't give you DiMartino's numbers in the first inning. We mentioned she could win her 20th. This is her 49th appearance. She has thrown more than 200 innings and given up just 33 earned runs. And you like that 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio? Well, for hers is nearly 6-to-1. Almost 170 strikeouts, 32 base on balls. And the opponent sitting barely above 200 against DiMartino. That pitch was elevated, almost in no man's land, dropping behind the circle, but still in time at first to get Garcia. The ball just dropped between the circle and second base, but Bishop to Bishop for another ground ball out, although that one doesn't quite fit the definition, I guess, but it'll work. And the catcher, Reagan Wright, next in. She's also at 5 home runs this year, a .286 average. Hard on the ground, under the glove of Griffin, into left, a base hit. So after 4 straight ground ball outs, that is the first base hit for the Mavericks. Mavericks team that went 3-1 in the regional plate at Stephen F. Austin. A 4-3 extra inning win in 10 innings over McNeese. They meant back-to-back regional championships. Last year they won the Conway Regional. And here's Brittany Wiley, the third baseman. Of course, last year in the NISC Championship Series, they lost to Loyola Marymount 10-5 and then Eastern Kentucky 8-6. They'd like to change that with a win today, but playing from behind early against Liberty. This is the first ever meeting between these two schools, and it comes here in Fort Collins. Wiley hitting .260 will roll one foul. UTA coached by P.J. Brune. And for Liberty, Dot Richardson, former UCLA star. One and two to Wiley. Got a pitch elevated, chops one to short. This is a chance for a double play. It'll be turned over nicely. Robertson the ball into Bishop, and the Twin ends second inning. So a hit, but nobody left. Inning and a half complete here in Fort Collins. Liberty with a 2-0 lead. Already in the bottom of the second here in game 2. Day 1 of this postseason at NIC, the third year of this event, the National Invitational Softball Championship. First that has not been played on campus. Played here instead at the home of Triple Crown, the TC Colorado Field in Fort Collins. And Liberty got a 2-run homer from Amber Bishop, scoring her sister in the bottom of the first. And the Flames have a 2-0 lead as this game goes into the bottom of the second with C, Griffin, and McFarland. The 3 hitters due up for Liberty. So Liberty 40-20 this year. You take their 20 losses. 11 of the 20 losses have occurred by a run. They've lost 6 times this year by 1-0 scores. And they have a couple of runs already. And here's Deidre C., the DH. That one's outside to begin the bottom of the second. Back for game 1, we started with 65-degree temperatures, high skies, and a stiff breeze. We're up to 70 degrees today. Just a few days ago, they had snow on this field. Even yesterday, temperatures in the low 40s. They have cooperated, though, today. Deidre C. hitting .240 with 11 runs knocked in. 12 hits on the year for the Flames. And it's a Liberty team attempting to win its second NISC title in 3 years. They won a couple of years ago. And then last year, pretty magical season. And got into the Columbia Regional at South Carolina. Earned a couple of wins. Hofstra. And then South Carolina, only to see South Carolina come back and win the final 2 games when Liberty was 1 game away from a super. And 3-1 the count. Next pitch from Phillips, poked off the screen and foul. Something about being just 1 win away from winning a regional and advancing to a super, only to see South Carolina come back and win the final 2. So for Liberty, not the automatic entry this year in the A-Sun, back here in the NIC and trying to win it again. And that one will be poked, foul down the right field side. So last year, Loyola Marymount won the title after Liberty won 2 years ago. And should Liberty win, those teams will meet in the winner's bracket game tomorrow. Here's a payoff. Tomahawk to third. Wiley there. She will throw out C. Well, these hitters have been aggressive today, offering at some pitches maybe a little bit up in the zone, taking some big rips.
Number 22, Danae Griffin.
But an out in the bottom of the second for Danae Griffin, the third baseman. Griffin hitting .237. She's not homered this year and knocked in 6. So Randy Phillips will have a quick inning and an efficient inning after The 2-run homer by Amber Bishop in the bottom of the first. Next pitch left over the plate, sent down the right field line, and it'll drop in for a hit. Burkiani will play it back in, and Griffin has a long single with 1 out in the bottom of the second. And it brings up the catcher, Caitlin McFarland.
Number 15, Caitlin McFarland.
See this ball drop in a couple of feet fair in the corner. Burkiani got there quickly to play it back in. Keep Griffin to a long single. And then Randy Phillips paints a strike on the inside corner to McFarland. That one golfed to left. Stroked by McFarland for a hit, dropping in front of Mendoza. Back-to-back singles by the Flames with 1 out.
Center fielder, number 19.
And it brings up Jasmine Kleek, the center fielder. Kleek 8 hits and 43 at-bats. First a quick meeting in the circle for UT Arlington. See this ball just stroked to left. One hard bounce in front of Mendoza. Kleek spreads out, shows bunt. Pitch carries off the plate and misses. Said it in the first, when Liberty gets a couple of runs, opponents have to feel like the task is that much more difficult to come from behind with their pitching. One of the best ERAs in the country. That will not help. That one fired into center. Griffin, though, will go to third. A good throw may have had. It was errant. And it was backed up in foul territory to keep that ball from maybe going near the dugout. And the error will let Griffin advance over to third base. Let's take a look. You see the throw from right. It went sailing into center. I thought maybe Curry had to play at third, then her throw was an errant one. And a couple of runners now in scoring position. But boy, if Liberty could now add an extra run or two, it'll make that task that much more difficult for UT Arlington. And they count a ball and a strike to Jasmine Kleek. Corner's creeping in. And Kleek will swing away and fouled one right back to the screen.
It's not doing it now, but it's actually moving. The pole is.
So Randy Phillips could really use a strikeout. She's not a big strikeout pitcher. 75 in almost 200 innings, but she could use one here, and Kleek with a soft swing and just did make contact to stay alive. One skipped right back by our plate umpire in game 2, John Bratley. Glenda Bates umpiring at first. Chad Gaffro over at third after he was at first base in game 1. Another big pitch. Tap towards second. Grimes will field it, freeze the runner, and throw out Kleek. Danae Griffin did not try and score on that hard grounder, and that's the second out of the inning. And it might help negate that error from right.
First baseman number 61, Autumn Bishop.
See how hard this ball was hit. 2 bounces. Grimes didn't even have to necessarily turn her body. Realized the runner wasn't going. Autumn Bishop skies one. Deep center and gone. Just out of the reach of Curry. The first home run of the season by Autumn Bishop scores 3. And the Bishop sisters have both played long ball, and it is 5-0 Liberty. So Amber had the 2-run shot just fair in the first. Autumn with the 3-run shot just over the fence, just beyond the reach of Curry in center in the second.
Now batting, second baseman, number 72, Amber Bishop.
And here comes Amber Bishop. Can the sisters go back to back? They've already both played long ball. So a 2-out, 3-run homer here in the Flames' second inning. And that does paint the corner on the pitch from Phillips to Amber Bishop. Combine these two teams in home runs equaled what Iowa State has done by themselves this season, but a couple of home runs from Liberty today. There's another play from Grimes, and she'll handle that one to retire Amber Bishop to end the second inning. But 3-run score on 3 hits, but they all scored on the home run from Autumn Bishop. Into the third we go. Flames up 5-0.
So eval has struggled. We've built a new product, and that product's called TC Eval. We've hired coaches, college coaches, to be able to determine one answer for the parents. Right now, I forecast that your child, your young lady, your young man is at this level. You may not like the answer, but it is a neutral, qualified answer of where your daughter belongs. We would love to have your son or daughter in the Triple Crown evaluation process. Thank you.
See the shadows advancing out on the field here at TC Colorado Field in Fort Collins. Bright sunshine in Colorado today, and there have been a couple of long balls as well, both by the Bishop sisters. Amber and Autumn accounting for all 5 runs here in game 2. And the Mavericks have their work cut out for them, down 5-0. And it gives Julia DiMartino a lead with which to work. And remember, her earned run average this year is 1.15. So if he get in 4 step in the that's deep that she will like to use. She'll mix in a changeup, but a little different than Chase Cassidy, the other pitcher, who's more of a drop and a curve and a change. I always like those pitchers with different repertoires, and Martino's is with the rise pitches. That earned run average, though, from DiMartino, the 11th best in the country. And that ball is foul. 2-time Big South Pitcher of the Year. She needs a win, and if she would get that here in game 1 today, it would be her 3rd straight 20-win season. And not just 3 straight 20-win seasons, but her earned run average will have improved over the course of all of those years. And there's the rise ball, and there's the swing and a miss. And that is her first strikeout today.
Second baseman, number 22, Avery Grimes.
There's Avery Grimes, the second baseman. A couple of nice plays defensively last inning for UTA, and she's hitting at an even 300 this year. 15 hits. Pokes one into the hole. There is Robertson throwing on the run, safe at first. Good effort by Robertson, but Grimes will beat it out and get the second base hit for the Mavericks in the game.
And batting left fielder, number 1, Mendoza.
And Melody Mendoza, the left fielder. Bats in the 9th hole for UTA with a 203 average and a couple of home runs. She drops down a bunt. Charging was Griffin. Flings on the run to first in time to retire Mendoza quickly for the second out. And Grimes does advance in the scoring position again, but 2 gone now in the inning.
Number 6, Whitney Walton.
Back to the top of the lineup and the shortstop, Whitney Walton. At a 1-3 ground out to DiMartino to begin this game. They're trying to poke down that fence in center where Curry ran into it last inning on the home run from Autumn Bishop. Walton has a chance to put the Mavericks on the board with a base hit.
That wind is doing all sorts of things to the center field campaign.
But a 5-0 lead for Liberty. DiMartino with that incredible earned run average, 11th best in the country, trying to put up another 0. She had a sister, Alyssa, pitched for the Flames back in 2011 through 2014. And they count 2-1.
Is he going to go try the drone?
2 balls and a strike, and the pitch just a little bit high. Plate umpire John Bartley would not bite. 3-1. Anytime you go up against DiMartino, you like to get that first run to keep that shutout option off the board. And there's another play for Griffin at third. Boy, she's been busy. A strong and accurate throw, a couple of assists this inning. A hit and a runner left for the Mavericks. We go to the bottom of the third. 5-0 Liberty.
No errors, 1 runner left off.
Boy, that's a bounce house, isn't it? Out there in left center field here at this festival. It's a good thing that thing is tethered down, or those tires might just provide it a spaceship of sorts in this wind if it could go airborne. But a lot of kids have enjoyed that. And there you see the fields behind it in center field. Youth tournament going on. We'll pan even further to the right. More activity going on. But here in game 2, it has been all Liberty. So UTA has made a change in the circle. Laura Henriksen is the new pitcher, replacing Randy Phillips. And 2 runs for Liberty in the first, 3 runs in the second. Here's Madison Vi. And she flied out to center, her only time in. Heart of the lineup here in the bottom of the third for Liberty. And that one down in the dirt. So Henriksen, a 5'11 freshman from California. Behind in the count here, 2-0, make it 3-0 to the first batter she has faced. Henriksen's numbers, this her 20th appearance. Not a lot of innings compared to her teammates, 41 plus. She has won 6 games, 6-1, 3.86 earned run average. Comes on in relief here in this third inning. And will issue a 4-pitch walk to Madison Vi to begin the Flames' third inning. Here's the shortstop, Sarah Robertson. Doubled back in the first. It has been a while, though, since Henriksen has last pitched for UTA. You have to go back to May the 3rd against Texas State. She will find the mark over the inside corner for a called strike. And that game against the Bobcats went 2 1/3 innings of hitless and scoreless baseball. And what would be a 4-1 win. So the cleanup hitter, Robertson, rolls one softly to Walton at short. She has one play that's first. Will throw out speedy cleanup hitter as Madison Vi advances into scoring position to second with 1 out.
Now batting number 4, the left fielder, Alexis Eric.
Here's Alexis Eric, the left fielder. She lined a second to Grimes and what was a double play when Robertson left early to win the first. A few feet in either direction, might have had an RBI double. That ball eluded right, just long enough for Vi to advance. Right had to reach behind her to find that softball, and her throw to third was not near in time. Wiley at third, Garcia at first, creeping in just a bit. Eric trying to 5-0. Wow, Vi just over at third. So the first inning in the circle for Henriksen. Trying to work around a walk, a ground out, a wild pitch. And here's a big 1-1. It's off the corner. Liberty has scored all of their 5 runs on homers. They take anything here, maybe to pick up number 6. Keep tacking on for DiMartino in the circle. Maybe start even thinking about the possibility of a shortened game before they would have a very busy day tomorrow. The winner of this game will get LMU. The Lions a 6-5 winner over Iowa State and come from behind fashion in game 1. Multiple times LMU was down to their final strike, ended up winning the game. This will score a run, and it's a base hit under the glove of Walton. Into center at 6-0 Liberty. That has been hard contact both times in for Alexis Eric, and this time she will get the single and an RBI.
Now batting number 14, Deidre C.
See how hard this ball came off her bat, skipping on the ground and right by Walton. Deidre C. DH in, she bounced to third in her only at bat. They came last inning. Good stop by Wright to keep that ball in front of her. Keep Eric at first. Even though Liberty has not exactly torn it up offensively, we mentioned how good their pitching is, but you consider what their run differential is, and they're starting to add to that today. It becomes a much more impressive number. This one hit in the air to center. starting to carry. Curry, though, shy of the fence, will make the catch for out number 2. And you could see Curry start to reach for the fence. She nearly went over one back in the second in a similar spot. With Liberty's 6-0 lead here today, they are 142, plus 142 more runs scored than their opponents this season. Starting to get to the point where basically that's 2 runs a game. Here's Danae Griffin. Singleton scored last inning. Henriksen able to deliver that first pitch strike. And that one will roll foul wide at third. Towards Coach Richardson. And an 0-2 pitch. Golf to third. Nice pick by Wiley at third. She looked to second. She had one play. That was first. And throws out Griffin to end the inning. Liberty gets a run on a hit to add to its lead. Into the fourth we go. 6-0 Flames.
There were no errors. One runner left.
It's a great venue, great event. Triple Crown does a great job. The kids love the region, and we get to see a lot of schools in a short amount of time, do some camps and some visits, able to get the coaches out to see us play while we're here.
It's a great opportunity for the kids. We've got more and more kids trying to get into college. I'm just happy that we're able to provide a venue, especially up here in the Northwest.
Mavericks in need of some runs as this game goes into the fourth inning. UTA trailing Liberty 6-0. It will be the heart of the lineup in Burkiani, Curry, and Garcia. All 3 grounded out in their only at bat. Julia DiMartino back into the circle. She's given up a couple of hits, one of the infield variety. And Mrs. DeBurkiani to begin the fourth inning. DiMartino earlier this year threw a perfect game against Princeton. She's thrown 30 career shutouts. And if you're curious where that ranks among active Division I pitchers, well, it's pretty high, and you would imagine it would. 5th among Division I pitchers with 30 shutouts, and of course she's yet to allow a run today. And here's her 1-1. Way high. Then again, when you consider the pitching success of Liberty, it shouldn't come as a surprise. At one time this year, they had 9 straight shutouts. That was 60 consecutive scoreless innings. And they came into this championship event not having allowed a run in nearly 24 straight innings. Rolled through their regional with 1-0, 4-0, and 7-0 wins. It's over Rutgers, Kent State, and Marshall. And the count has gone full here to Burkiani to begin the fourth inning. And here's a payoff. Burkiani to go off one foul to stay against her. Just strikeout for Tina. And that one again. Burkiani back. Top of the fourth. Of course, is winning full for hard to imagine a pitcher getting the ball. It's 9 ball out for DiMartino. It's all outs. Court lower. So this is always a good test when Curry's in. She had the .437 average. You know, you look at the numbers for Curry, and she's hitting .437. You think, what an amazing season. She hit considerably better in league play. In Sun Belt Conference games, she batted .479. I'm not sure how you do that. But in conference games, she went 45 for 94. Actually had a higher on-base percentage than slugging percentage, and that's really rare to do. Didn't homer, but a better on-base than slugging. So that's an OPS greater than 1,000, but with a higher on-base than slugging. Base hit after base hit. Not a lot of walks. I mean, she's had 11 this year, but when you hit that well, when you hit nearly 500 in league play, I guess you don't have to walk much. And that one just did miss. My goodness, 3-1. Trying to get Mavericks a base runner. I'm guessing you swing. Much taking it. Curry from Temecula, California. And the payoff. Little dribbler. He's going to take a quick throw, and that's exactly what DiMartino was able to do to Bishop. And that is the 10th ground ball out. UT Arlington has had just one runner in scoring position so far in the game, and here's Aileen Garcia to bat with the bases empty and 2 outs. Look. Hawk third. Griffin. Robertson. And close it first. That might have been a top 10 play, and that one worked out 5-60. And as it was, Aileen Garcia able to reach. What an effort by Robertson to play that carom and offer a throw to first that was awfully close. Let's take a look at this one again and see how close it was. I mean, there's the ricochet to short. I'm not so sure she may not have been out. Here's Reagan Wright. She had a hit back in the second. So an error on Griffin allowed a 2-out base runner. And Reagan Wright, one of the 2 hits to this point for UT Arlington, hits a little flare behind second base. That'll drop. And that's a base hit for Wright. So her second little flare between the circle and second base. And Garcia advances to second. You can see the effort trying to lay out and make the catch. And if you don't catch it in the air, it's probably going to create a difficult effort to try and scoop it and throw. As you can see on this ball hit over the head of DiMartino. Great effort by Robertson. And there's a ground ball to third. That's a fair ball right over the bag by Wiley. Able to step on third to force Garcia to win the inning. So a hit, an error, runners left. UTA score. Go to the top of the 40. zeros. Scoreboard. Meanwhile, the first run her authorship in the second run walk and single in the third. You can see it's busy softball with the going on behind the fence up there in center. Those are the wee little ones right there. And field surrounding TC Colorado Field. So these youths, a lot of them here yesterday with the team 4 here in the night. Bounce house, and the youth games in this collegiate tournament taking place. We had an outstanding game 1. LMU the winner 6-5. They await the winner of this one. McFarland singled and scored back in the second. For Liberty, you have to wonder if their schedule and the tough teams that they have played provides them maybe just a little bit of a boost. I mean, they've had 3 straight 40-win seasons, so obviously they've had some success, and the senior class certainly. But 4 opponents this year that Liberty played, UCLA, Tennessee, James Madison, and Washington, are all still playing in super regionals. So 4 teams they played this year playing to advance to the Women's College World Series. McFarland, a hard ground ball to Wiley at third. The third baseman for both teams have been very active today. And there's one quick out. Liberty was just 1-6 against ranked teams. They beat Texas A&M when the Aggies were 19th, and A&M finished the contest. See this handle. I guess one question: Liberty is ground the bat of Henry. But Liberty home here was 4-2. And while this is not a true big game, a neutral site game, so far so good. 6-0 Flames as the lineup is turned over for Autumn Bishop, who hit her first home run of the season in the second. It was a 3-run shot out of the reach of Curry, who was back to that center field fence hoping maybe to make a play. So the Bishop sisters combined, playing almost every single game, had 2 home runs, and they've doubled that up with 4 now combined, as Amber got her third and Autumn got number 1. What Henriksen is trying to do, though, is to give her team a shot by keeping the Flames off the scoreboard for the first time in the game. And Bishop a tough out. One ball, 2 strikes to Autumn Bishop, batting with the bases empty here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the next one from Henriksen drops down and in and misses. Autumn trying to prolong the 4th to get her sister Amber a chance to bat. That one not close, and the count has gone full. Almost looks like a postcard in that picture with the cloud overhead. Third base part of the stadium. TC Colorado. We're not being cheap. These things are good. Smoke over near the railing. Six runs, 6 hits for Liberty. No runs on 3 hits for the Mavericks. Another payoff and a base runner as Bishop, Autumn that is, will walk with 2 outs. Bring up her sister, Amber.
Second baseman, number 72,
having twin sisters playing in college softball, well, not common, isn't exactly that unique either. There's approximately 18 sets of twins playing in college softball, but the Bishop sisters done some damage. Seen Autumn from the left side and now Amber from the right. Leading the conference in hits. She got number 70 with her home run in the first. As I mentioned, it's just her third home run of the year. Her two previous home runs were both walk-off shots, including a walk-off grand slam and a win against Radford. Henriksen, her second inning of relief, left that one over the plate, and this one drilled to the gap in left center, and it's going to go to the fence. Let's see if Autumn Bishop might have a chance to score. She'll be held to third on a double from her sister Amber. Boy, the Bishop sisters, I know they've terrorized some this year, and for that matter in their career, they're doing it again today. Looked like maybe a two scoreless inning. This ball was goal. Bounce before five. There's a medium circle. So even just 8 to 9 in the inning. Trying to win in 3 seasons. And back in even all time in this event. Win a ton. Your role for run this year, but they're for the to remain close. Henriksen needs an out on Madison Vi, who fly to center, walk, and score. Low pitch, but apparently too low for ball one. Team and run score. Deal. From Henriksen. 6-0 Flames in the fourth. Liberty trying to add to its lead. Foul tip away. Autumn Bishop he's ready to twist, and that foul. Down the corner. Like what 2-3 inning is. Henriksen can still put a in this inning. She's had to work against the Bishop sisters, and now Vi. And that one poked left. A long run from Mendoza, and she'll track it down. A run and grab to save a couple of runs, and the Flames strand 2 in scoring position. We head to the 5th inning. Fort Collins, Liberty 6, UTA nothing. DiMartino finishing up some of her warm-up tosses before she's ready to pitch in the top of the fifth. The Flames of Liberty leading the Mavericks of UT Arlington 6-0. A couple of runners left in scoring position by Liberty, so as we go to the fifth inning, we'll see if the Mavericks might be able to do some damage. Ground ball outs have been the factor today, and for a rise ball pitcher in DiMartino, she has had 11 ground ball outs. She'll look at the bottom of the lineup. Murphy, Grimes, and Mendoza. What UTA is trying to do is get their 34th win. That would equal the number of wins that they recorded way back in 2007, so it's been a while. And there's a bunt that hit her where? She's out, hit her out of the box, and Murphy is going to be a quick out to begin the fifth inning. I'm not sure if she was out or not, but our plate umpire John Bartley said she was, so he called her out. Ball hit her in front of the box. May have to see that one again. Now goes a 2 unassisted and an out for Avery Grimes, who had an infield single back in the third inning. A quick visit in the circle. Conversations everywhere. Third and short, in the circle, in the coach's box. First ever meeting between these two teams, Liberty and UT Arlington, and we're in the fifth inning. Again, the winner gets Loyola Marymount tomorrow. The loser will face Iowa State. That one ripped to left for a base hit. Avery Grimes is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. And there's a runner on with one out for the Mavericks. Brings up 9-hole hitter for the Mavs. Up in the box and just drilling one to left. Ball one issued to Mendoza, who rolled out to third to Griffin, who's been busy. And that was back in the third inning. Good pitch. In for a strike. Liberty home this year. UT Arlington only games at home as well. Home contest. They were 13-2, so makes this matchup fun. There's another play for Griffin. She's been so good at third base. 13 ground ball outs for DiMartino. 2 gone in the inning. You come to, you want to keep the ball, even though on this fast track, both players, Griffin, change, got rid of that quickly. And there's 2 outs for Whitney Walton back to the top of the lineup. She's 0 for 2. A couple of ground ball outs. Little Flair down the line, going foul. A leadoff hitter who does her job with 61 runs. She's trying to drive in the first run. 61 runs scored, the most single season program history. She's doubling the single season hit record. And really a player who's dramatic. Came in hitting 100 today. Last year she hit 282, so made the most of her. Watches that rise ball jumping out of the zone. Now, DiMartino, same spot. Seen that a couple of times. It's hard to score 6 runs quickly against a staff like this, but just to get a run here and a run there, maybe put some pressure on the Mavericks, on the Flames by the Mavericks, would be what they would love to see, although that was a pretty good pitch to hit, and Walton took it for strike 2, and the count has gone full. Walton from Lake Jackson, Texas, smashes one to third, off the glove of Griffin, into left, and home to score is Grimes, so there will be no shutout, and the Mavericks are on the board. So there will not be a shutout from DiMartino. And for Liberty, with 19 collective shutouts this year, they will not get one, as that ball was not handled by Griffin. And it is a 6-1 game. Not only did this ball kick away, but it shot in the air past Robertson. And it made it an easy route from Grimes to score from second. On the air by Griffin. Shelby Court pinch hitting. So Court hitting for Berchiani. And it's 2-0. Court Jr. from Rockwall, Texas. .247 hitter, a couple of home runs on the season. That one not close, 3-0. The dangerous Laura Curry on deck. And you know the Mavericks would love to give her a shot to really blast one and get back in this game. Running out of time, and this is the 5th inning, and that one will complete a 4-pitch walk. So the 2-out error, and then the walk, and there's 2 base runners on for Curry.
Center fielder, number 8, Laura Curry.
So Curry's been held in check today, 0 for 2. Dropping that batting average that came in at .437. And Coach Dot Richardson on her way to the circle. Year number 6 at Liberty, more than 200 wins. And of course, she played in that first ever NCAA Women's College World Series, helping UCLA win the first of what would add up to 11 titles. That first one came back in 1982. And she's trying to win her second NISC title. Here is the head coach of the Liberty Flames. So the conversation will continue and now break up in the circle as John Bartley, our plate umpire, went out there as the 3 outfielders also converge for a visit. Eric, Click, and Vi. Probably talking about the high sky and the winds and how they're just happy when the inning ends and they can get back to the dugout. Maitre will probably be back in the lineup when she flies in late tonight and is here tomorrow. Of course, if you're flying too from Virginia, you're hoping that your team is not playing in the early game. Give it a little extra time to collect yourself as you gain a couple of hours. And here is Curry, 0 for 2, and that one nearly hit him. Keep in mind she needs 2 more hits to pass Allie Wester of Notre Dame for the most hits in the nation this season. 86. Of course, the first 2 have not been in the zone. Walton at second, she reached on the air. Court is at first after the walk, and that was a good one for strike 1. This is a fun battle and what could be a key frame for the Mavericks. There's a bunt. See if she can beat it. Safe at first. Another hit for Curry. Number 87 on the year, and the bases are loaded. Once that ball hit the dirt and started to drift a bit on DiMartino, there was not going to be much of a shot to get her at first. And all of this coming now at 2 outs. Watch the speed out of the box by Curry. Covering that path quickly. And if you dare to dream for the Mavericks, they're one big blast away from making this a one-run game after being down 6-0. And Aline Garcia, the cleanup hitter, does have 5 home runs this year. Reached on an air by Griffin back in the 4th inning. Battle drop for a hit. It'll score 2. Bobble by Click. Her throw to third is late. And UTA has cut this lead in half. It's a 6-3 game. All of these runs unearned, but nonetheless 3 on the board for the Mavericks. And 2 more RBIs for Garcia. She has 49 on the season.
Now batting. Catcher, number 77, Reagan.
Click tried to come up with the ball, and then her bobble probably meant an extra base there, and 3 runs home this inning. And it looks like a pitching change will be made for the Liberty Flames. Chase Cassidy will enter. So a 3-run 5th inning for UTA. And now Cassidy will try and end this inning because Reagan Wright will bat, representing the tying run. The numbers as well for Cassidy awfully impressive. And she has a 1.21 earned run average. Her earned run average 15th best in the country. Another pitcher whose earned run average has improved every year she has been at Liberty. Younger sister of Paige, who's the current associate head coach with the program. And Father John is on staff as a volunteer assistant. So Liberty softball has truly been a family affair for the Cassidys. 35th appearance for Cassidy, thrown a couple of outs shy of 140 innings. And she's had more strikeouts than innings pitched. And while DiMartino began today with opponents hitting just 202 off her, opponents have hit just 203 against Cassidy. Here's Reagan Wright. Long ball here would tie up the game. Hit well to center. This one's starting to carry. What a grab made by Click. A bit of a snow cone catch. If that's over her head, 2 runs will score, but the grab ended the inning. As it was, 3 scored by the Mavericks. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. It is a 6-3 Liberty lead. When we started this 5th inning, we'll step aside.
Triple Crown Sports Fast Pitch puts you at the most competitive and engaging tournaments in the nation. With decades of experience building relationships and trust at every level, Triple Crown is the engine behind the Colorado 4th of July, Zoom into June, and offers elite college events such as the Puerto Vallarta College Challenge and postseason NISC. Triple Crown is where skilled players enjoy the thrill of the sport and builds recruiting connections that pay off down the line. Find your way and love the game with Triple Crown Sports.
Much different game than we had maybe just about 15 minutes ago. Liberty was 1 out away from sending this game to the bottom of the 5th with a 6-0 lead, but UTA scored 3 times, and were it not for the catch made by Click in center, it might have been a 6-5 game. Sarah Robertson will lead off the bottom of the 5th inning against the freshman Henriksen, who came on in relief to begin the 3rd inning after her counterpart Phillips gave up 5 runs in the first 2. And here is Robertson. Looks like Coach Richardson making a few changes with our plate umpire John Bartley before we're ready to get this bottom of the 5th inning going. She could have changed her entire roster and it shouldn't have taken that long, but we're about ready to go.
Robertson. Now catching number 2, Shelby.
New catcher is Court. It's not the only change, though. I believe Reagan Wright moves from behind the plate to left. Sarah Robertson will bat. Robertson is doubled and grounded down. That one hit to left field, and how about Wright moving out to left and making the diving catch? It's pretty hard to go from catcher to left field, and then the first ball is lined to you, and you lay out and make the catch. He's taking another look. What a great grab by Wright in left. Mendoza moved from left to right, so that was part of the process when Wright went to left and Court was catching. Here's Eric, who knocked in a run in the 3rd inning. Her single made it 6-0 Liberty. Eric lined into a double play, then into the 1st before her RBI single in the 3rd, so she's made hard contact both times in. Really, Henriksen has done a fine job. She gave up a run with a walk and a ground out and a single in the 3rd, and the single came on Eric's hit. Left a couple of runners in the 4th. Got that nice play by her new left fielder Wright in the 5th. Chopped to first, that's a fair ball. Gloved by Garcia, she retires Eric, and there's 2 quick outs in the Liberty 5th inning.
Now batting number 14, Deidre C.
Deidre C. DH is 0 for 2. She's bounced to 3rd and fly to center. Little tapper, this one's going to stay fair, and Garcia with the tag and a vicious spin after she made contact with C, and I think everybody's okay, but that was quite a collision, and the inning ends. And Liberty quietly done in the bottom of the 5th inning. We're going to head to the 6th. We've got a ball game all of a sudden, a 6-3 Liberty over UTA. Here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and we're at TC Colorado Field at the Triple Crown headquarters for the National Invitational Softball Championship. 3rd year of this postseason event. And in game 2 today, Liberty with a 6-3 lead over UT Arlington, but it was 6-0 not that long ago before the Mavericks scored 3 in the 5th inning. See what they can do in the 6th. Cassidy came on, got the final out, albeit a Ball that was drilled to center, and Click made a snow cone catch to save 2 more runs from scoring. She'll look at Wiley, Murphy, and Grimes. 6, 7, and 8 batters for the Mavericks. So here's Brittany Wiley, 0 for 2. Another California native on this UT Arlington team, junior from Bonita, California. Of course, their coach, PJ Bruin, played at Hawaii, coached at Hawaii Hilo for a couple of years, but a lot of time and 2 stints as an assistant at Texas State. Wiley trying to get on against Cassidy and create some problems. And that pitch, boy, just did miss. You could see the catcher, McFarland, frame it a bit for John Bartley in case he wanted to think about it and call a late strike, and he did not. So it's 2-0. UTA came in with an RPI of 67. Representing the Sun Belt Conference. All of a sudden the count now 2-1. Cassidy's next pitch. Grounded sharply to short. Robertson there. Her throw is true. 1 out.
Now batting number 9, KJ Murphy.
1 out for KJ Murphy. She was called out of the box as she made a bunt that ended up coming up and hitting her in the 5th inning. You see that play made by Robertson and Shore. So Murphy is 0 for 2. KJ Murphy at a Baytown in the Houston area. Lines one to left for a base hit. So she is now 1 for 3 with that sharp single. Each of these teams now have 7 base hits. Of course, 2 of the hits for Liberty were home runs that accounted for 5 of their 6 that they have scored. Good hard contact here by Murphy. Played back in by Eric.
Now running at first base, number 4,
Casey Moore will run at first for Murphy. And that one does just enough to catch the corner. The pitch from Chase Cassidy. Well, DiMartino throws a lot of rise balls. Cassidy more of a drop curve type pitcher. That one chopped sharply to short. Robertson with the flip to second. And not in time to get the double play, but what an effort by Robertson. That ball had some spin to it. When she went into a dive, it may have been further to her left than she anticipated, but able to make the play and flip to Bishop for the force at out number 2. Let's see this one again. It's a great effort just to come up with a softball and throw to second and not have to eat it. Here's Mendoza, 0 for 2. Twice she's grounded out to third base. Facing a different pitcher, though, here in Cassidy, who tried to spin that one out and away from her. And that one missed a little bit up and in. Two balls, no strikes. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Mavericks running a little bit short on time. We say that. Tossed to first, and that was close as Grimes was trying to climb back into the bag. It was late in the game in our first contest when LMU was down 5-1 and came back and won it 6-5. Looked like in game one we were going to be talking about the lobs, the left on base, as the Lions left 12, but they were able to find enough runs in the bank to win 6-5 over Iowa State. So the winner gets LMU, the loser gets Iowa State tomorrow. 3-1 the count to Mendoza. Leadoff hitter Whitney Walton waiting on deck. And she will not bat just yet. Mendoza was on her way to first, but a strike was called. The count has gone full. Here's a payoff with a runner going. Good swing. Mendoza fouled one straight back. So Grimes was off and running. She'll take off yet again on another payoff pitch from Cassidy. See if this one might drop, and it will. In front of Vi, and it kicks away. And there's runners at second and third. The ball will get away. And Grimes will score the 4th run for UTA. Boy, most of the errors we've seen in this game have been on secondary kicks or rolls. Watch this one again. Vi was playing deep. She could not get there, and this ball was up in the air a long time, but it dropped. Grimes would turn and go to third, but the throw in was just dropped at second base. It's a 6-4 game, and now Walton bats representing the tying run.
Shortstop, number 6, Whitney Walton.
First 3 runs by UTA were unearned, but runs nonetheless. And out to Walton will make that run just scored unearned by UTA. But however, it's a 6-4 game. 6-0 after 3 innings. Liberty had the lead, but all of a sudden things have changed just a bit. 4 unanswered by the Mavericks, and now the top of the lineup. And Walton watches that finish way high. 2-0. Cassidy needs a strike, and she got one. Walton had started towards first. I don't know if she thought she was grazed by that pitch. Obviously, it wasn't going to be ball 4, even if it had not been called a strike, but she tossed her bat aside. So it's 3-1. So she thought it was ball 4, didn't hit her. But 3-1, and that is ball 4. So she does walk. And Cordu pinch hit in the 5th inning and stayed in to catch is due up. And UTA is also 1 batter away from getting Laura Curry to the plate again. So the single by Mendoza, an error on the throw in, and then a walk to Walton has given the Mavericks a chance here in the 6th inning. This UT Arlington team has so much experience. They have 9 starters from last year's regional championship team. The only starter they lost was the second baseman, Sandra Mendoza. And Avery Grimes, who's starting at second today, has reached base 3 times, hit a couple of hits, scored a couple of runs. So Shelby Court, even an extra base hit here, could tie up this game. Cordes 1 home run this season. Takes a pitch right down the chute for a called strike. Mendoza at second, Walton at first. High chopper. This is going to be a really tough play, and Robertson with the kick, and all the way around to score is Mendoza. Never stopped at third. And it's a 6-5 game. It's almost a case if you're Robertson, you just have to find a way to secure that ball and not let it score a runner from second. Rather than to try to make a great stop, it's just a matter of coming up with it at some point. Even though she was not going to get the play, that little bobble right there with Mendoza not stopping scores a run. It also brings up Laura Curry with 87 hits on the season. Now, she is not a power hitter. She's not homer this year. Base hit here would allow her to tie the Notre Dame player Allie Wester, with the most in the country, and tie or give her team the lead after being down 6-0. One ball, then a strike to Curry, batting third for UT Arlington. They scored 3 runs in the 5th. It was a great catch that kept Moore from scoring. They plated 2 runs here in the 6th. 3 singles have factored in. Good pitch, strike call. And Cassidy trying to dial it in just a bit. Catch some corners to Curry. One ball, 2 strikes. Big pitch here. She will poke one down the line and fair. And it's going to tie the game at 6 on hit number 88 by Laura Curry this season. She took a pitch off the corner and dumped it on the chalk down the left field line. You talk about plate coverage. This is how you get 88 base hits. Just reach out and poke one over the head of Griffin as we take another look. Able to put that ball in play and keep it fair. 6 straight runs by the Mavericks. Here is Garcia, the cleanup hitter, with a couple of runners on base, showing bunt. Garcia knocked in 2 runs with a single just last inning in the 5th. She's got some power, though. 5 home runs for the Mavericks. Again, squaring just briefly, but then taking a strike, and it's 1-1. It was all Liberty after 3 innings. A 6-0 game, now 6-6. And these 2 games today have followed a similar pattern. Big early leads and then comebacks. Comes Coach Richardson to talk to our plate umpire, and she has her lineup card in tow. I think she wants to bring on another pitcher. They've gone through 2 good ones, and DiMartino and Cassidy, and she wants a third, and she'll bring DiMartino back in the circle. So rather than going to a third pitcher, she will re-enter her starter in a spot where she wants to try and get that third out and keep this game tied. Six runs, 10 hits, and an error for the Mavericks. 6 runs, 7 hits, 4 errors for the Flames. And again, it was a 6-5 win for LMU over Iowa State in our first game. Early game awaits the loser. To the winner, they go into the winner's bracket with a chance then with the win in game 2 to be in the driver's seat. Count is 2 balls and a strike that DiMartino will inherit. See if there's a play behind home plate. Reaching for it is McFarland. She had room but couldn't get there. She got locked up a bit with our plate umpire, John Bartley. It may have cost her a split second of getting underneath that pop-up to make the catch. So the Mavericks still alive. DiMartino a strike away from ending this inning. Hit in the air to right center field. Vi is there. Sunglasses on. Makes the catch. Ends the inning. But the Mavericks score 3. And we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. UTA and Liberty tied at 6.
All tied up at 6.
That's a good look in the circle of Laura Henriksen, and not to be overlooked in this crazy comeback is the fact she's done a fine job since she entered in the 3rd inning. She walked the first batter she faced after a ground out in a single. Liberty had a 6-0 lead. Since then, she's allowed just 1 hit and no runs. While their teammates, the Mavericks, scored 3 runs in the 5th and 3 more runs in the 6th. So the Flames are going to have to reignite their offense, and again, it's a team that doesn't score a ton and usually pitches extremely well, so they get 6 runs today, and yet it's not going to be enough. Griffin, McFarland, and Click, 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Flames here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Bottom of the 6th inning, third baseman number 22.
Here's Danae Griffin. She's handled a lot of plays at third, also with a couple of balls kick off her glove to kickstart some frames. Singled and scored earlier, bounced to third her last time in. And the first one just does drift off the corner from Henriksen, a miss. Just such a different game for Liberty than the Lynchburg Regional when they swept 3 games without giving up a single run. 1-0 win, a 4-0 win, then a 7-zip win. Chop it to third, that's a foul ball. Grabbed by Wiley, but just 6 inches or so across the chalk, so she went ahead and fired to first, but foul ball to Griffin. Henriksen a big shoulder shrug before she winds and pitches, and that one sent to left, dropping for a hit in front of White by Danae Griffin. So a good beginning in the Liberty 6th.
Number 15, Gibson, McFarland.
Flames needed a base hit, and they got one here. Thought maybe White might lay out, I should say right. McFarland, the catcher, has singled and scored. Squaring to bunt, drops one down, a good one, picked up by Garcia. She'll throw to first with Grimes covering, the sacrifice going 3-4. Executed on both ends, but Griffin in scoring position at second with 1 out. The 9-hole hitter, Jasmine Click, is due up, and we'll see if Liberty wants to use a pinch hitter. Click a 186 average. See if Coach Richardson has a change in mind. Emily Sweat, I should say, is about ready to pinch hit.
Now batting for the Flames, number 9, Emily Sweat.
Sweat has 5 hits and 50 at-bats this year. She has 2 RBIs all season. 1 here would give her team a lead again after losing a 6-0 lead in this 6-6 contest. Sweat, a sophomore from McDonough, Georgia. The pitch from Henriksen. In under her hands for a called strike and a beauty. She put that in a spot where Sweat was not going to be able to do much with it, even if she off. 1 on, 1 out, tie game, last of the 6th inning. Sweat hitting for Click. Leadoff hitter Autumn Bishop on deck. In fact, the Bishop sisters, Autumn and Amber, the next 2 scheduled hitters, I guess kind of magnifying the importance of Henriksen winning this battle with Sweat. Two-one pitch. That's a fair ball, and that's a quick out. Garcia on top of the bag, able to field it. They called it foul. Well, I don't know about that one. I don't think Coach Bruin does either. Now, granted, I have a large obstruction in front of my first base view here, but nonetheless, she felt like maybe that was an out. Instead, a foul ball. So the count is 2-2 instead of that second out. And now the count has gone full. Boy, this would be huge if Sweat can deliver, or even reach base for that matter, and the count has gone full. Henriksen's pitch. Lifted to center, Curry camping underneath it, and the second out will be recorded, albeit with a fly out rather than a ground out. And Henriksen and the Mavericks 1 out away from sending this game to the 7th tie. Although here is the dangerous Autumn Bishop. She's walked, she's been hit by a pitch, she's hit a 3-run homer, and she's scored twice. And the 3-run homer again was her first of the season. Now she'd settle for a base hit. That one is a little bit hot. Liberty has not scored since the 3rd inning. That was the first inning that Henriksen pitched in relief. Trying to strand Griffin at second. 1-0 pitch. Hit high in the air. Deep center field. This one's going to go. Second home run of the game and the season for Autumn Bishop. And the Flames are back in front. It's 8-6. She has not homered all year, and she's hit 2 this afternoon in the light air of Colorado. And that one was even deeper than her first. So the Bishop sisters, again, they started today. They had combined for 2 homers, and they've hit 3 in the game, including this one clearing the center field fence by a wide margin. Two homers, and they've hit 3 today, and that was an absolute rope to left. Caught by right, off the bat of Amber, and that will end the 6th inning. But a 2-run homer by Autumn Bishop has given Liberty a chance to win as we go to the 7th. It's an 8-6 Flames lead over the Mavericks.
It's the Flames 8, the Mavericks 6.
So eval has struggled. We've built a new product, and that product's called TC Eval. We've hired coaches, college coaches, to be able to determine one answer for the parents. Right now, I forecast that your child, your young lady, your young man is at this level. You may not like the answer, but it is a neutral, qualified answer of where your daughter belongs. We would love to have your son or daughter in the Triple Crown evaluation process. Thank you.
Well, this game has had a few twists and turns. Then again, so did our first when Iowa State blew a 5-1 lead and LMU won the game 6-5. This was 6-0 Liberty early. UTA ran off 6 straight runs. And that fan's dancing again because it was Autumn Bishop with a 2-run homer with 2 outs last inning to put Liberty 3 outs away from advancing into the winner's bracket. So DiMartino started this game. She's re-entered. Now she's trying to finish it. Reagan Ryan, who started behind the plate, moved to left, leads off the 7th. She does have 2 hits today, 2 of the Mavericks' 10. UTA has out-hit Liberty. And needless to say, Liberty has out-homered UTA. I guess you could say the Bishop sisters have stolen the show today. 7 RBIs on 3 home runs. Alone, it's been enough to take the lead. Ball and a strike to right. Laid off the high rise ball. See if the Mavericks have one more big inning in them. They need it here. Need at least 2 to keep playing. Just missing off the corner. Not by a lot. 3-1. Just 1 base runner for UTA would allow them to bring the tying run to the plate. They have not homered today. They're not much of a power hitting team, but maybe these conditions much more favorable to the long ball. Pop up. Will it stay in play? No. Just over that screen near the Liberty dugout. As Griffin tried to create some extra room. McKenna's gone full to the leadoff hitter right here in the 7th. And a payoff. Grounded sharply to third, off the glove of Griffin into left field. Boy, she has had a few smashes today, handled some early, hasn't since. That is the 3rd base hit for Reagan Wright. And all of a sudden, UTA does indeed have the tying run heading to the plate. And Brittany Wiley will step in. Here's the smash to third, and just couldn't handle that hot smash on the backhand. Wiley to bunt. A little hard back to the circle, and DiMartino able to make the play to get the first out. Not quite as hard, or maybe a little bit towards third base. That would have been a much more difficult play. As it is, I think Liberty would gladly exchange that base for right for the first out. KJ Murphy will re-enter. She was pinch run for back in the 6th, so this is just a designation that she will hit again. She's 1 for 3. Good pitch for strike one. In case you're curious, Murphy has hit 4 home runs this season. Somehow you get the feeling we're maybe one more deep fly ball away from this game ending one way or another. Well placed down and out, but Murphy would not offer. It's a pretty good 0-1 pitch. Winner gets Loyola Marymount, loser gets Iowa State tomorrow. 2 of 3 games here at TC Colorado Field. Hard hit, base hit, into left. Holding at third, Wisely is right. Runners on the corners, tying runs on base with 1 gone. Double figures in hits for UTA. And here's Avery Grimes, who has 2 hits and has scored 2 runs. Boy, the Mavericks making some hard contact over these last few innings. 3 runs in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. A couple of runners on base here in the 7th. And another visit in the circle for DiMartino, who started this game. Now she's trying to finish this game. I would say her teammates are really not involved much in this conversation. It's a one-sided one here. And Liberty with a 2-run lead, 2 outs away from a win, but the tying runs on base for UTA. First ever meeting between these schools. It's been a fun one. Avery Grimes does not have a homer, but she's been on base 3 times. 2 hits, 2-run score. Remember when DiMartino had those 3 scoreless innings to begin the game, we were talking about her with the 11th best earned run average in the country. First few runs scored against her unearned, but all of a sudden hard contact has been made. As that one is fouled back to the screen. Opening day, we're at the postseason NISC, the National Invitational Softball Championship. If the rest of the tournament is as wild and entertaining as day 1, we're in for quite a Saturday and Sunday here in Fort Collins. Just missing down and out to Grimes. Junior from Keller, Texas. Big pitch here, the 2-1 offering. Poked back to the screen. 2-2. Right as the runner at third, Murphy at first. And another foul ball off the bat of Avery Grimes. Liberty scored the first 6 runs in this game. The Mavericks scored the next 6. And a 2-run homer by Autumn Bishop again in the bottom of last inning has created some separation for the time being. And that one not close, so the count has gone full. Big pitch, here's the 3-2 offering. Hit hard on the ground, it comes up and it chews up Robertson. And a run will score, it's an 8-7 game. There have been some bullets on the ground. It is an 8-7 game.
fielder, number 1, Melody Mendoza.
And here is Melanie Mendoza. She is the 9-hole hitter, and then things will really get interesting. Good pitch, strike one. Grimes with the base hit and an RBI, 8-7 our score. Mendoza singled and scored last inning. Turned on that one that was way inside and clubbed it foul. Mavericks have 13 base hits against a school that had the 3rd best earned run average in the country. And they may not be done. 3 hits and a run this inning, tying run in scoring position. Go ahead run at first. And a 2-strike pitch pushed off the corner. Mendoza would not chase. Leadoff hitter Whitney Walton on deck. Where Liberty has scored 7 of their 8 runs on home runs, UTA has gone a little more station to station. A protection swing from Mendoza. Another pitch from DiMartino. Little soft flare headed to right. It'll drop in front of Vi. Here comes the tying run to the plate. The tag is applied. My goodness. What an effort by McFarland to make the tag attempt on Murphy to keep the Flames up by a run.
Second order for the Mavericks. Shortstop,
Grimes did go to third on the play.
Walter.
The base hit from Mendoza dropped in front of Vi. Let's see who made the throw. It was the second baseman, I believe, that went out there. Bishop, who threw the ball to the plate. John Bartley on top of things. Rings up Murphy. Might have had a broken set of sunglasses there from Vi, who took quite a spill trying to make a diving catch. And it's a sun field out there and right now. So I think she's okay. We go back to the top of the lineup in Walton, though. On the play at the plate, Grimes took third. Mendoza went to second. A little bit of drama now in the 7th inning. And out will end it. An error could tie it. A base hit could put UTA in front. The Mavericks have not led in this game. A chance to do so here in the 7th. Keep in mind, in our first game, LMU did not lead until there were 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 7th inning. It's when they took their first lead. They won 6-5. 2 outs in the 7th inning for Whitney Walton. And that one's further off the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Walton began today hitting .400, but she's 0 for 3. You would think she might be due, although she has scored 2 runs. The pitch to Walton further off the corner. First base is open. Court is on deck. It would create a force at every base. You're getting to that spot, though, where Curry would be due up soon. She hits into the 3-hole. See what DiMartino wants to do here. Good pitch. And that's one I'm sure Walton wouldn't mind having back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So now the Mavericks are down to their final strike and final out in the 7th, down a run. Two balls, 2 strikes to Walton. Pokes one out at our right center. That'll drop. That'll score 2, and the Mavericks have taken their first lead of the game. It's 9-8. Back-to-back games, a team that has not led down to their final strike in the 7th inning gets a hit to take the lead.
batting number 2, Shelby.
The 15th hit of the game for UTA gives the Mavericks a lead, and here comes Court. And that one fouled back and out of play. Boy, it's amazing how these two games have had that similarity between teams with big comebacks down to their final strike, delivering. Chop foul, 0-2. So now you look ahead to the Liberty 7th inning. It'll be Vi, Robertson, and Eric. 3, 4, and 5 due up. Two-strike pitch. Tomahawked foul will play on here in the 7th inning. Court entered the game pinch hitting in the 5th and stayed in. And another one foul. She's driven in a run on an infield single. She's walked, she's scored, and also been catching since she entered. UTA didn't score in the first 4 innings. They scored 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and 3 runs here in the 7th. So Liberty will come to bat, trailing for the first time in this game, 9-8, UTA in front, trying to advance to the winner's bracket.
UT Arlington, 3 runs on 5 hits.
Those polls are in for a workout this weekend. The winds were not near as stiff back at 1 o'clock Mountain Time when we started with Iowa State and LMU, but they've picked up since. Now, we have not had a lot of balls that have been affected or maybe pushed away from outfielders. And we've had a lot of contact, a lot of hits. 24 hits in game 2. And while UTA has had three run innings and 15 base hits, Liberty's had 3 homers, accounting for 7 of their 8 runs. Madison Vi will lead off against Henriksen. Gave up a run in the 3rd, 2 in the 6th. She's in a position to be a winner. Vi's had a couple of flyouts. She's also walked and scored. So Liberty swept their Lynchburg Regional, winning 3 games, didn't give up a run. And they're down a run 9-8 today. In fact, they didn't give up a run into the 5th inning today, which meant they had not given up a run in 27 2/3 innings before they give up 9 over the next 3. Does that make any sense? No. 0 runs in 27 2/3 innings and then give up 9 over the course of 3. Vi ahead in the count. Not close again. You can't imagine a scenario here where Vi will be swinging, trying to get on, representing the tying run in the bottom of the 7th. Good pitch for a strike from Henriksen. Henriksen, the freshman from Los Alamitos, California, trying to get an important first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Instead, she will deliver the walk. And now Liberty one big swing away from winning it.
Shortstop, number 1, Sarah Robertson.
And it looks like that'll do it for Henriksen, and a pitching change will be made by UT Arlington. Another freshman pitcher ready to enter, Allie Gardner. So this is not an easy spot to enter for the freshman right-hander. Gardner has appeared in what will now be 41 games this season.
Now pitching, level 0, Ali Gardner.
More losses than wins, 5 and 7, but an ERA sub-3 and just shy of 100 innings of work. She's given up 105 hits, and 10 home runs allowed, and not much of a strikeout pitcher, just 33, but a fresh arm in the third used by UTA so far in our game. Opening day of the postseason National Invitational Softball Championship here at TC Colorado Field in Fort Collins. We thought we had a wild first game. I would say game 2 was even trumped game 1 as far as not just the runs, but maybe some of the chaos and the comebacks. Liberty led 6-0 going into the 5th inning. UTA took its first lead in the 7th inning down to its final strike. Now a long ball away from winning it, but Sarah Robertson, the cleanup hitter, tried to bunt, and that did not work well. Robertson lined to left her last time in. She was trying to poke a ball in play and ended up fouling it at the plate. More than 200 career hits for Robertson, and she ranks in the all-time top 10 in 12 different categories in Liberty softball, but she's going to try and bunt again, and that just did not work. And a throw to first for a double play. Popped up the bunt. Vi was way off the back. And 2 outs on 1 bunt that was popped up. And now it's up to Alexis Eric, who's 1 for 3. (9-8) UTA in front. Liberty down to its final out, and you see Vi, she was out of your screen there for a couple of frames. Good pitch, strike call. To the left fielder, Alexis Eric. I don't think you would have guessed this in the 5th inning when it was 6-0 Liberty. UTA about to complete a big comeback. Ground ball to second. Grimes has got it. Ball game over. And it's the Mavericks with a 9-8 win. What a comeback for UTA. What a big win for the Mavericks, and they will meet LMU in the winner's bracket tomorrow. Iowa State and Liberty will meet in the early game. You might have thought those two teams had the possibility of meeting, but maybe you would have guessed wrong. And here is the final out.
Mavericks, 9 runs on 15 hits. There are 3 errors, 8 runners left on. The Flames, 8 runs on 9 hits, 4 errors.
Game that took 2 hours and 11 minutes to play, but it was a wild one. Our final totals: 9 runs, 15 hits, and an error for the Mavericks. 8 runs, 9 hits, and 4 errors for Liberty. And quite a comeback indeed. So our first game tomorrow will feature Liberty and Iowa State, 10 o'clock Mountain Time. And following the conclusion of Game 1, scheduled now for 1 o'clock, it'll be the winner's bracket between UTA and LMU. Two big comebacks from the Lions and the Mavericks, and they will meet in our second game tomorrow. So that'll do it today. A very busy day of softball here in Fort Collins in the National Invitational Softball Championship. For our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolan, thanking you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for 3 games here from TC Colorado Field. So long from Fort Collins.